perceived as that, that's like, no matter what happens, it will ultimately be perceived as that. We got 60,000 likes and
This is gay zoomer music.
A lot. Because the situation itself is
How
like
many people are even
around at this point.
Hey, yo, what's up?
Like,
what's up?
What a gang.
COD is doing pride
I
shit.
don't stand with Hassan. I do not stand with Hassan. I do not
Shit.
stand
There's
with
flags
Hassan.
basically like, oh, you're standing strong against like COD and Activision, which is objectively, just like every other corporation, bad. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, ultimately, this conversation started because either a, correct understanding or a misunderstanding of what Nick was saying, right?
Snake out of here.
And then Nick's clarification did not feature like, oh, well, you guys are misunderstanding what I'm saying. I don't have any issues with like gay people, trans people whatsoever. And then Call of Duty took action, which was understandable. It's fucking Pride Month. I am a firm believer that if Nick said what he said on any other month of the fucking year and not like 6 months into Pride, 6 days into Pride Month, they probably wouldn't have even taken action. They wouldn't have given a shit.
My take was that it was not only Pride Month, but I thought the main tweet having violence or whatever kind of makes it so he validates the violence, which I think is complete fucking dog shit. That's what I said.
Yeah. So, looking at a situation where like random fucking right-wing dickheads that have traveled over to like Glendale to beat the shit out of people who are protesting, who are there to support the school's decision to make, to recognize Pride Month, is insane. So looking at that situation and being like, no, actually the real problem is like, you're involving kids in this. That's not a good take. It's a bad take. So it comes across like Tim is defending that rather than just defending his friend, which he is. He is defending that. I am a firm believer. I am a firm. I mean, I think so. Yeah. What does this mean? Like, it's not like, I don't know why public figures like Tim, like myself, like Nick, like yourself, don't actually fucking take the time and consideration to like really clarify their positions. I know it comes across like PR or whatever, but ultimately at the end of the day, you're a brand and you're working with other brands. You know what I mean? So as a large content creator, we all have the responsibility to conduct ourselves a certain way, in my opinion. Not everyone agrees with me on this. But if you say it like this, if you just, drop a dime like this, of course people are going to see it as not just you defending your friend or anything, but you defending your friend because you agree with the interpretation, the broad interpretation, and how what Nick's statement was and how it was received. I mean, at the end of the day, if I think, for example, you were banned for something unjustifiably, I would come out and speak out against it. I have in the past when people, criticize you for shit that I think is uncalled for. But if I feel like you've done something that's wrong, objectively wrong, that I disagree with, I'll call you out. I think that's what friends are supposed to do.
Yeah, no, I was agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So ultimately, this comes across like Tim is not disagreeing with like Nick's overall sentiment and instead defending him.
Oh, that's how it comes across. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I thought personally, whatever happens, if I had a friend and then his bundle half was taken out, it would feel weird that mine is like left in it. That was pretty much my take.
No, but no matter what happens, there are certain things that you wouldn't. Like, there are certain things you wouldn't defend. Now, this is not what Nick did, but if one of your friends, for example, said the F word, right? Like, and was like, I hate F words or whatever.
Whoa, yeah.
And then they banned him. I'm not saying this is what Nick did, but if one of your friends said that, you would not defend them. You would not in solidarity be like, yeah. You would not in solidarity be like, oh yeah, I think my skin should be taken or removed as well. You would actually probably do the exact opposite. You'd be like, hey, I love this guy, but I don't agree with what he said here, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Now, obviously, that's not what Nick did, and I don't think that that's what Nick did. I just want to clarify it like 8 fucking times so that all the dumb bitches don't like try to put words in my mouth. Okay? But the broad understanding of what Nick's statement was, considering how he said it and where he said it, was that, you know, he thought it was a bigger problem that children are learning about LGBT stuff in school than like parents getting their fucking ass beat by like random right-wing people. He might not have understood that that was the case at the time. He might not have understood like the actual context of the situation, but that's how it was received. So as a content creator, I think it's on him to clarify that sentiment.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
And when he didn't do that, it comes across like he's doubling down. And then when Tim defends him, it comes across like Tim is doubling down on behalf of Nick. They will get a lot of support for the record. It doesn't even matter. Ultimately,
I think that the severity of what is said matters a crazy amount. Like you brought like saying like the I don't like, let's say, F word, then it's like really, really bad, right? And depending on the severity of the take, then you'll like tailor around it, right? Right?
Yes, it certainly depends on the severity, but I'm not surprised even in the least bit that Call of Duty would take this, would you know, absolutely move in the way that they did when one of their, you know, top content creators who has a skin with them comes across like they're saying that the real problem is that is not like the real problem is the school is actually recognizing Pride Month, June as Pride Month, and not like people protesting that. Even if there wasn't fights, which there were.
Oh yeah,
it's not a. It's ridiculous to be upset about that. I disagree with that vehemently. I think here's a big thing, and I think this is like something that a lot of people used to do online, like especially back in like the 2014, 2015 days, you know what I mean, like Gamergate era, is that a lot of people don't say what they actually mean. A lot of people like to hide behind generalities and, you know, vague sentiments instead of just like openly saying what they actually mean. The notion that
the dog whistle.
Yeah, and I don't even think like, you know, a dog whistle implies that there's like an ideological underpinning behind it, but in many instances, I think a lot of people online will say, oh, well, like, I'm just talking about saving the kids and that you're a groomer, and they don't actually define why they think that, okay? And I get this all the time. People are fucking constantly calling me left and right a groomer because I am in support of, you know, in support of gay people, in support of queer people, and also certainly in support of there being like some level of LGBT acceptance in schools. I don't think this is grooming, because I don't believe that you can groom someone into being gay by, you know, showing them that gay people exist in society. I think you're just at that point, all you're doing is just showing them an objective truth. But people don't want to openly admit that that's how they feel, so instead they hide behind generalities. I don't think Nick has an issue with gay people, for the record. But I do think that he's been brainwashed by a metric ton of fucking right-wing media that has like terrified him and many other normal people, normies, into genuinely misbelieving that, like, you know, people are objectively, like trans people are objectively grooming people, and that, you know, kids are turning trans by seeing trans people in media or in schools and whatnot. And that is not the case. Not the truth. And a lot of people in your chat are saying they are, but that's not the case.
No, for sure. I just, for me, it's always been about like, bro, I'm not in schools. Like, I don't go to school at these ages. I don't know how they translate that knowledge by navigating around the topic of like actual brute force fucking topic of sexuality, like actual sex acts or whatever. So I don't even know. But like, yesterday you made a good point. That you believe that they still don't do that, which is fair enough.
No, they don't do that. This is like, this is all stuff that actual fucking experts that understand child development a lot better than we do, they are the ones who come up with these educational materials, and it is their job to make sure that it's safe and responsible. And it's not new for conservative reactionaries to get out and be like, oh, I don't want my children learning this shit in school. They used to say this in the George W. Bush era about the theory of evolution. A lot of the Zoomers in your chat who think that this is like edgy and cool are too young to remember that time, but I'm old enough to remember that time. They used to literally picket and protest schools in an identical fashion because that was that was at that time the fashionable thing to get mad at. A lot of people just like react to whatever's in front of their fucking eyes. They don't really have like long held beliefs or things that they care about all too long, especially in the age of TikTok when, you know, attention is really difficult. It's a
yeah, true. I mean, my takes change literally in real time and based on the information that I gather, which I think it's fine. I think it's a socially damaging process to learn on stream instead of waiting till I have all the knowledge and just go, hey guys, I'm the chosen one, I know everything. People usually argue the opposite against that. People say like, I don't think it's called whataboutism. It's like, I think overall, I think it's a healthy process to show development, whether that makes me look ignorant initially. And that's fine, fair enough. Do you agree with that or not?
I agree with that. Even though people will nefariously use that against you and say that, and will hold you to account on whatever your former take was. Because people, unfortunately, have no room for growth. Plenty of people on the left do this. Plenty of people on the right do this as well. I hate it. I think it's one of the most annoying things. That's why I routinely ban motherfuckers who will go, oh, backtrack, lol. It's not that I'm backtracking. I now have more information on the subject matter that I'm discussing and have changed my mind on it. I'm not a fucking idiot. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what I like doing for sure. Yeah, it's why I get mad at a lot of people when they don't give me like at least the ignorant, because a lot of times I'm just ignorant and I don't think that's a problem. I don't think being ignorant is a problem as long as you're willing to learn and you're willing to and take new information. I try to do that as much as I can. But people don't give a fuck about that.
I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, people like to just cook. People cook. They cook me up.
Yeah, because everyone ultimately wants to feel loved and wants like admiration, affection from others, and you know, you have a way of quantifying that on social media through likes and retweets and whatnot. So people go for slam dunks as quickly as possible without actually trying to have a conversation and understand the other side's genuine perspective.
Yep.
But ultimately, if we're going to go back to the main point of contention, I mean, yeah, you're right. There's nothing wrong with like getting new information and changing your mind. That's the expectation. That's what adults are supposed to do. And certainly, if we're